Hey everyone. So something interesting happened on the Steam store last week. It turns out that Steam and its developer Valve have a big problem with how they manage game listings. Basically, users took to social media to complain that loads of fake games had appeared. In some cases, there were 3 listings for the same game, like Helldivers 2. Both had the exact same name, marketing image, developer name, and publisher. I mean, this is published by PlayStation, so it must be legitimate, right? It even has various positive reviews as well. Well, granted, there's only 44 reviews of this particular game. But one key difference here was the price. 2 of the Helldivers 2 games were heavily discounted. So why wouldn't you buy them? Well, because they were actually fraudulent listings. If you purchased them, you'd either get some random other game, a fake ripped-off version of Helldivers 2, or maybe a boatload of viruses and worms that even a double dose of ivermectin would struggle to take care of. Thankfully, Steam did take care of this problem quite quickly and deactivated all these fake game listings, but why has this happened? Well, for many, many years, users have been complaining that Valve handle game listings in a substandard way that makes this sort of attack likely. To explain this, let's say that I'm an indie game developer. I didn't have a beanie, sorry. I've just created the world's best ever dungeon crawler. I want to list it on Steam, so I pay their $100 upload fee, I wait for Valve's employees to manually review everything, and then it's live. Woohoo! I can now sell my early access premium beta alpha testing release for $5. Nice. Over the next few months, I then naturally make various changes to the game's marketing images, the description, price, and more. That's all fairly standard, of course, and sometimes this will trigger a manual review from Steam. But after a few manual reviews, they'll trust me enough to make these small changes in the future without any further review from Valve. And that's where this whole problem lies, although thankfully there's a few ways of protecting yourself from fake games, which I'll cover in a minute. If my developer Steam account gets hacked, then the hackers can change everything. A bit like how some massive YouTube channels have been compromised and changed to crypto scam channels overnight. So in these cases, the developers' games have had everything changed. The name, the image, developer, and publisher. Everything. That then makes it pretty confusing for all of us, because who doesn't want a cheap game, right? What's worse is that this isn't a one-off problem. This has been happening for many years, with users raising feedback with Valve for quite some time. Saying that automatically approving changes to games' details isn't really ideal, even if Valve did resolve this issue in just 6 hours to their credit. What's interesting too is that this wasn't actually a hack. An indie developer randomly decided to scam everyone and make bank in this particular case. So how do we protect against this? Well, firstly, if a game has multiple listings, which is usually how the scam works, you should immediately be suspicious. If one game is much cheaper than the other one, remember the old adage. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. However, you can also check things like the game's release date, because this will show the original release date from the original indie game. We know that Helldivers 2 was actually released in Feb 2024, for example, so clearly those other game listings are a bit suspicious. The other thing you can do is get the URL of the potentially dodgy game and check it on Google or archive.org. If it shows results for a different game, then it's a scam. We can see that one of the games from last week was actually called Figularity, before the developer tried to scam us all. The last thing you can do is ensure that you have a proper antivirus program installed and that it's correctly configured. I raise this point specifically because some guides online suggest that you exclude the Steam game library from your antivirus checker to increase game performance. Naturally, this ain't good advice anymore. It's quite concerning to me that we should even need to be concerned about viruses and malware when buying a game from a reputable platform like Steam, but clearly we do need to protect ourselves. The final thing I wanted to point out is that if you do get scammed here and the game you end up playing is clearly a fake, Steam has a good refund policy. As long as you play the game for less than 2 hours and you request a refund within 2 weeks of purchase, you can get a quick, no questions asked refund. Although in this particular case, Steam actually proactively refunded everyone, which is great. And that wraps up this video. Please click the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. This tells the YouTube algorithm that more people should see this video. Please also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.